Okay, hopefully we are good to go. You guys see this all right? Everything good? Give me some notice in the chat. All right, I can see this all right, so I think we are good. What's up, guys? Getting started here with the stream with my boy Dobiwan joining us now in the call. What is up, Dobiwan? How you doing?
Pretty good.
All right, so Dobiwan submitted a donation for a lesson to the Backslash sponsorship, which is right now working to try to get Dragon Brain to go to, I believe it was April Saga. So definitely looking forward to that. Thanks a lot for the donation, man.
Soon to be Xenoblade Saga.
Oh, it's Xenoblade Saga. Something changed?
No, it's the round robin.
Oh.
But there's like, I think there's 2 or 3 Schultz in it.
I haven't heard
Not
about that.
both mains, obviously, but I could check. Well, I don't think that's confirmed to Schultz. I'm just really optimistic.
Okay. Well, let's worry about that another time. I'll have to look into the details myself, but that's gonna be hype whichever way it goes. Anyways, let me try to review what the what it was that we needed to talk about. You said that you were you're a casual player, not quite a beginner, but a little ways up from that, trying to improve your Shulk to improve your results in local tournaments, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I don't know too much about where you are starting, so let's go ahead and spar for just a bit, see where we can place you. Also, I think you said you had a replay that you wanted to take a look at?
Oh, yeah. A VOD. I can pull that up in a second.
Alright, we'll go ahead and do that in a second. But for now, let's see what you got. Ah, thought I stepped far enough back. Not sure what that was aiming to catch. Okay, let's try for another stock.
Stop what you said?
Oh, what's up?
No, I can know what you said.
Oh, I said let's try for another stock. Let's keep going.
Okay. Oh, it's at the time. I thought it was at the stock.
No, it's infinite time. Okay. Let me ask you something. Are you buffering the second slash? No, you're not. You're not.
I'm not.
Okay. Well, that's lesson 1 right there. When trying to grab the ledge, there's if you do not buffer the second slash, you are actually slower at grabbing the ledge. If you buffer the second slash, you will grab on much quicker and be much harder to punish. It's very important to snap the damn ledge. Now, if you drop down that quickly, there's a ledge regrab limit. You cannot regrab the ledge until a second after, so don't fast fall. Just press back. You have to aim for the tip, like make it so it's at the very top of the air slash, and then just buffer the second slash by mashing the V button.
Okay.
Or mashing the Z button if you want to get into that habit. Okay, that's a good habit.
I should do that. Okay. Never thought about that. Makes sense.
There you go. That is going to save your life. It's very important to snap lower than usual, because if you snap too high up, like up here, you will snap the ledge, but the problem is, notice how high my head pokes above the ledge when I do that. It makes it very easy for people to two-frame me. Meanwhile, if I snap lower, my head never pokes above the ledge, and then there's nothing I can do. It's the difference between life and death in a lot of cases.
Okay.
This is one of the most important things for Shulk player to learn. Now, another thing that I noticed is that you have a tendency of using risky attacks in neutral, like a forward smash, backslash, things like that. We'll talk about the phases of the game in a moment, but just for starters, know that that is not something that you want to be doing.
Not that I'm saying it's a good thing. The runaway backslash is me trying to like get them to chase me and then.
Okay.
Back up. I guess there's probably better ways to do that.
Yeah. Think about it this way: if I'm running towards you and you run away and backslash, then here's what's usually going to happen. Okay. Usually, either if you succeed, you're gonna knock me away, right?
Yeah.
But like, notice how far I flew. I'm at 95%. Forward hit of backslash is almost never going to kill anyone, except on the very ledge and smash arc. Like, you're not going to get a kill off this. That's the reward for succeeding. The risk is I react to it because it's very reactable, and then I block it and then hard punish you. That is an incredibly high risk for an incredibly low reward. Never do it. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Like, I understand you want to mix someone up, but the problem is with something like backslash, especially running away, it's possible to react to that. Like, there's the times that you want to use backslash is as a trap. Like, for example, let's say I knock you off stage and then you jump back, trying to jump back onto the stage. That's a trap, because even if you jump towards me, there's nothing you can really do about it besides air dodge. So the risk reward is heavily in my favor. You cannot punish me for this unless you're someone with like a counter and then counter that on, like, you can't react to it with a counter. You have to anticipate it with a counter. There's not enough time for the counter to come out. So even if you tried to jump at me and counter on reaction, you would fail. So this is actually a really powerful trap, because let's say even if you land on stage, come a little closer to the ledge. Even if you land on stage with an air dodge, like reacting to it, you're going to air dodge onto the ground, and then air dodging onto the ground cancels the air dodge, and then you get hit by the backslash anyway, so it works out beautifully. That's the kind of situation you want to use backslashes, as a trap for things like air dodge. Even in a situation like this, like let's say I get you at a higher percent, and then maybe get an up throw, and then you air dodge anticipating the up air, and then you get hit by backslash. That's the situations that backslash could be more useful in. But as a raw attack, like running away and doing that, it's not going to work. If you try to bait an option out of shield, like let's say you're playing defensively, and I just run past you and backslash, even that's better, because you might at least spot dodge or roll, I might get better reward, but the risk is still there, and I'd still not advise that. So, essentially, that's something that you need to think of when thinking of ways to improve in this game, is think in terms of risk versus reward when picking your options. It's the same reason why I say you don't want to throw out forward smash in neutral, because it's like, yeah, I have a high reward, but the risk is also insane, unless you trap someone in it. Now, I'm gonna skip straight to the phases of the game. I usually talk about other things first, but let's just tie in straight into this. Let's say we're in neutral right now, right? I don't know if you watch my other lessons, but essentially, when we're in neutral, we both have the same amount of options, around the same amount of control of the stage. Essentially, like, I could run backwards, I could run forward. I can just foxtrot like that, I can walk, I can run forward and shield, I can run forward and dash attack, I can run forward and up smash, I can run forward and do whatever the hell I want. I can run forward and backslash if I really want to. Now, what I'm trying to say is, a lot of these options you can't possibly react to. Like, even like I jump at you, even if you think that I'm going to come at you as an attack, I can land and grab before you can even possibly react. It's like I have all of these options at my disposal. So unless I'm playing predictably because I'm not a very good player, how in the hell are you going to read in neutral?
Yeah.
You can't. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get a good exchange of a raw read in neutral. And if you do, it's going to be a high risk, low reward. Usually. Sometimes you might get a little higher reward. Like things like maybe Bayonetta up B in neutral, Bayonetta down B in neutral. Like things like that give a high reward for a relatively low risk, but not everyone's like that. So, essentially, what you want to do if you want to make reads is you want to limit the things your opponent has access to. So let's say I jump in the air. When I jump in the air, I gain some new options, but I lose a lot of the ones I had. I can't use any grounded options, which means I can't shield. And I can't roll. I can't spot dodge. I can air dodge, but if I land on the ground as an air dodge, I'm in lag, so it's a very risky option if I'm landing with it. That, and I can only drift this way or that way. I can't, like, turn around on a dime. It's not something that's going to happen. Now, if I double jump, then yes, I get the mobility boost. But as soon as I double jump, I use my second jump, and I can no longer second jump. That's another option out the window. Now, let's say I'm knocked off stage. If I'm knocked off stage, if I don't do anything, I die. So I have to do something here. I have to go towards the ledge to make myself survive. This is where my options are limited. Let's say I'm at the absolute maximum distance and I absolutely need to delay the air slash and make that last minute arrangement. That's like my options are one. I have a single option, and if you interrupt that and force me to pick another option, I die. So like for example, if I'm in this position down here and you come at me with an attack, then I might potentially die if you force me to air dodge. You know, that sort of thing. Though, I mean, there's still a risk to it because I could turn around the air slash, and that's another option that Shulk has. But other characters, when they're trying to drift at max range, they don't have that many options. This is one of the reasons why I say Shulk's recovery is good, because he has those options. Even at the very last minute, when he's all the way at the bottom, he can still, like, turn around his up B. Sometimes when he's at max distance, he can still, like, activate another Monado art and then survive, you know? He has options. So, moving past that, when you limit your opponent's options, that is gaining, the less options the opponent has, the less options you need to watch out for. This is gaining an advantage over your opponent. So when your opponent is in the air, you generally have an advantage over them. This is why people say not to jump so freely. It's also why Shulk players usually stay low to the ground when attacking with aerials, because they don't want to go too high up, they don't want to get intercepted. Especially when you're playing Shulk, you have options like up tilt that just reaches up to the heavens. You have, a lot of landing catches, like lingering nair, things like that. You have all these options that work out well. Besides that, you have a lot of ground speed, especially in speed art, the second fastest running speed in the game, the absolute fastest walk speed. So, essentially, once you gain an advantage over your opponent, you limit them, like let's say I juggle you in the air and then I push you to the ledge. Now you're at the ledge, right? Even if you're not off stage. Right here, the position you're in, I have control over the stage. I'll talk about that in a little bit. So, now that you are here on the ledge, your options are limited. You can't drift backwards to zone me out, because if you do, you'll be off stage, which means it's a high-risk option for you. It's something that you're very unlikely to do. You can't, because you can't zone me, essentially your options are stay in place, give me more control of the stage, or contest me. This is why, even when you're in shield art, it's possible for you to contest players to force them to fight you. Because if you push them to the ledge, they have to go through you or try to go over you. And if you try to go over me, well, I mean, I have huge sword. Like, you can't really break past this very easily. And now, if you try to go into me, I can ease back, And besides that, let's say even better. Let's say I knock you off stage and you jump back on stage. So I jab you, maybe you do that. Oh, my bad. You're at way too high percent right now. So yeah, whatever. You're a jumper right now. Forward throw. You jump back on stage. your options are stupid limited if you do that.
Yep.
Like, I can catch you with a forward smash, and there's pretty much nothing you can do about it besides counter. My forward smash outranges anything you have, for the most part, from that position. So, essentially, this goes for almost any character in the game. I knock you off stage, you try to jump back at me, and then I just take a step back and forward smash. Well, not if you grab ledge, that's a different story. But that's exactly what you need to do. Instead of making it so you have limited options, you need to make it so you have the most options possible. This makes it harder for your opponent to do things like that. So what I'm describing right now is the concept of holding forward. You might have heard me talking about it in the past. You might have noticed it in the past. Maybe you're fighting Captain Falcon and you jump towards him and he just steps back and forward smashes you. Things like that. That's because you're holding forward. You're making it very predictable what you're going to be doing. Because think about it. When you jump in the air, there's a maximum distance that you can travel before you land. The only way you'd extend that distance is if you double jump. But if you double jump, then you lose your double jump, so you no longer have that option, and now you create a new position that you can create now that you can travel max distance from. Imagine like a triangle below Shulk where he double jumps, like two mounds. Those are covering like an M. That's the max distance that Shulk can travel from his jump. So if you stand right outside that M, you can catch him at max distance. A lot of people, when they're knocked off stage, they want to go right back into the action. So, like, for example, like I was saying, you'll jump back, you'll try to hit me with, like, a nair or something. And then I take a step back, and, well, assuming I react to it, I take a step back, and then I forward smash. Or, maybe block, because I know you're coming at me with an attack, and then I knock you back off stage. That is why people advise going for the ledge, because if you go for the ledge, instead of having one option, you now have 6 or 7. And now it's harder for me to anticipate what you're going to do next. This limiting options is what creates reads. So, like, would you consider the up throw up air a read?
I think depending on how you use it, yes.
Okay, at the percentages where it's supposed to work 100%. Or rather, it's supposed to be a true 50-50.
If you already put them in like some kind of air dodge situation, and you have that knowledge to go off of, then I would say yes. This is the first time that you've done anything of the sort, then not really.
Okay. Oh, essentially, what it is a read. It's a 50-50. 50-50s are inherently reads. I'm guessing you're going to do one option or the other. If you air dodge, you live. But if you air dodge and I read the air dodge, and I don't mess up because I'm bad at the game, you might potentially die, you know? That's a read that limits your options to one or the other. And that's what you want to do, ideally, with every single read. You want to make it so the risk-reward of that read is in your favor. So, like, for example, stepping back and forward smashing. Let's say I knock you off stage, you jump on, and I step back and forward smash. The risk is you go on ledge and then I still have advantage. The reward is you die. So that's something you want to go for. Even if it's something you would think a forward smash would be incredibly risky to pull out, but when your opponent's options are limited by that much, there's actually nothing they can do about that forward smash besides like jumping in and countering. And watch this. Go into jump art. I want you to jump at me and then counter before I land. No, before you land, okay?
Okay.
No, like, I'm gonna knock you off stage.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, well, it worked this time. Oftentimes, when you do that, you'll just slide past me, and I won't die.
I did like a jump on stage counter earlier. Just pass.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. So essentially there, like, even though you have an option to deal with it, usually it's not going to end me at all. Like, if I were to go for a riskier option, like, for example, back throw, and then you jump on stage, and then I go for backslash, and you counter that, then I'm in trouble. But if I just go for a forward smash from then, I mean, there's not really much you can do about it. Or if I go for shield, that's even less risk but lower reward, because the most I'll get is probably an air slash or a grab. Those would be the situations that you want to make reads in. When it works out best in your favor. This is the concept of consistency. This is how you make sure that you win on a more consistent basis versus certain people. So, let's talk a little bit about Shulk basics. Okay, let's take a step back from this fundamental talk of the phases of the game. Let's try to see what you know and what you don't know. So we were talking about air slash, snapping the ledge. So that's one thing you learned. What'd you say?
I said I didn't know like the buffalo thing.
Okay. So let me see, what else is there? In terms of absolute basics, you know what all the Monado arts do?
Yes.
Okay, that's very important, because if you have like false knowledge of one of the arts, you use it in a situation where you shouldn't, or you refuse to use it in a situation where you should. For example, a lot of people falsely thinking that jump art makes you die earlier off the top.
I don't like using Buster and Smash because I feel like I take more damage than I give, so...
Well, you're very wrong.
I know. I'm just saying, like...
Yeah. Buster makes you deal 40% more damage and makes you take 12% more damage.
Yeah, no, I know what to do. I'm just saying, like... I meant in terms of, if I activate Buster and I never hit you once, you take more damage.
Yes, which is
and
why...
It feels like I lose neutral for it.
I would... Here's a hidden strength that Buster has that a lot of people don't realize. I mean, you know how it does more damage, but on top of that, it does more shield damage. So it weakens the opponent's shield as an option that's usable in neutral. Like, watch, you try running towards me with a shield. No, not even. And I just zone you out with that. You can't do anything about that. Or you try to block to punish me and I cross you up in air. And then, like, you try acting out of shield, and then you're out of range, or you're pressured hard. So a lot of people say Shulk loses to shield, but then he turns on Buster, and then that's not true in the slightest.
Does a down smash and Buster still break a shield?
Yes, but only in certain situations. If you want it as a true shield break, the only time that'll really happen is from the ledge. So, like, if you do a neutral getup and then immediately shield, and then I do that.
Oh, dang, no, second hit, too.
That's a really powerful tool. And it kills at 0.
Technically, yeah. Right.
But besides that, it does a decent amount of shield damage, but it's usually not going to break shields. Like, one thing that some people do is something like this. Let's say I go into Buster here. And actually, no, hold on. Yeah, whatever. So, like, they walk towards you and then they'll do that. Especially in situations like, actually, this is one of the things I used to start matches with when I was first starting out. I would cycle arts and then use the activation of the art to stop my dash and to do a down smash or a down tilt or whatever out of that. So if I go into Buster art, that's a ridiculous amount of shield pressure, and it pushes you away. And you still took the damage. Now your shield is weakened, and you took that damage. But, I mean, maybe it's not the ideal situation, because, like, watch, no, it's still, if you jump, or you step out of the way, and I come at you in down smash, then it's like, wow, you can punish me for free, because down smash lasts for 20 years. Which is why I stopped using it. It's not exactly the best tool. But it's not a bad tool. You could also run towards someone in up tilt or down tilt, and use the activation of the arts to kind of stop you. And if you have perfect timing, you can actually, if you know exactly when the art's going to activate, you can stop running at that time and you'll slide with the art pose, which is fully invincible. And that's a pretty cool trick that I never really developed that much. But that's more in line for advanced stuff. Besides that, yes, that's exactly what I mean.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Shulk's busted. So besides that, in terms of basic Shulk stuff, let me think. We talked about the Monado arts. We talked about snapping the ledge.
Yeah.
Besides that, understanding the range of the attacks. Knowing things like this. Having like the knowledge of the pivot grab. As, that's a powerful tool. Now, you wanted to know some bread and butter setups. I can talk a little bit about those. So, reset your percentage.
Okay.
Okay, so Shulk combos live and die with Nair for the most part. Not across the board, but Nair is a ridiculously powerful combo tool for Shulk. Especially landing Nair. Specifically landing Nair. However, the one thing that's very important to keep in mind that I'll go into in a second is that you don't generally want to use your most powerful option all the time. Because if you do, then it becomes obvious to the opponent that you want to do it, and then they'll aim specifically to counter it. So don't go Nair happy. If you go Nair happy, you'll never go back. Now, what you can do is Nair. Let's say Nair jab. Very easy bread and butter combo. Decent percentage. Works in almost every art, and works in later percents in Buster. Like, if I do it now in Buster, it's still going to work, and it's going to do a ridiculous amount of damage. You just went from like 16 to 42. So, you know, that's pretty good. Reset your percentage again. Now, here's a very common setup. Something that's very powerful. There's two that I'm going to be talking about that work around 0%. So there's Nair up tilt, which is a powerful juggle setup. Because from that up tilt, you can continue to up tilt, or you can aim to catch a landing. And if you can catch a landing, you can get so much reward from that. And then there's reset again. There's this one. That's going to be a very common bread and butter setup. So it's going to be Nair to grab. This is a true combo around 10%. Some characters with faster aerials can escape it. Most characters will get caught by it anyways, but if you're fighting someone like Luigi, he's going to be able to Nair out of it. Yoshi's going to be able to Nair out of it until you get to like 10%, and then it's going to work. Now, what you can do with Nair grab. Here's a very easy setup you have out of that. When you get the grab, you got down throw, forwarding. You can't really get too much from that directly, but there are some traps you can do. Like for people who try to mash jump to escape from this, if they jump early, you can end up knocking them off stage and getting a very early kill. Usually that's not going to happen. Usually people are going to be smart and conserve their jumps. But the point of this, though, is not so much for the damage that results, it's for the amount of stage control you gain. So let's say I get you from here. Even though you air dodge, you're now off stage and I'm edge guarding you. I messed up and went off stage. But yeah, from that position, it's like now you are on the ledge. I can switch to Buster and now the games begin. You try to get back on stage and then I'm just zoning you out, creating this huge wall of attacks. And the risk reward is heavily in my favor. I'm getting a lot of percent, you know? So even though it doesn't seem that powerful on the surface, it's ridiculously powerful when you combine it with the rest of his kit. So, moving forward from that, other combos that work. Reset percent. Okay, at lower percent, what you can do on some characters, this is something that I used to do all the time, but I haven't done in a while. You got Nair down tilt, and from the down tilt you can often get a grab, especially on like heavier characters. So you can go Nair, down tilt, grab. And then from there, you can get the other thing. Besides that, I forgot to mention, at 0% or at low percent, Nair forward air is not a true combo. People can air dodge out of it, but they can't do anything else. So it's a 50-50. What they can do, like watch, try to air dodge out of it. What I can do is I can get another Nair, and from that Nair I can get another grab, or I can get any of the other things we just finished talking about. So that's a pretty powerful tool. You have this as another combo, like you have access to. just to knock them far away and get that extra damage. Around this percentage, you have Nair Fair, and you can lead that into some silly setups. That isn't the most basic of combos, but the Nair Fair is very important, especially when you combine it with the fact that you can get some really stupid early kills. Like, get on the ledge real quick. Even with this, with a little bit of rage. No, not that far on the ledge. Like, just stand up. Oh, shoot. My bad. Get a little closer. Okay. From a single nair near the ledge, you can get a kill. And it's very easy. It's not something that's hard to land. Now, moving on from that, in terms of other bread and butter setups. This one I wouldn't really consider bread and butter, but it's something that you can start thinking about. Around this percentage, you have this as a setup. Maybe I wouldn't recommend practicing this one too much for now, but just to show it off. Shit. My bad. Damn, the lag's throwing me off here. Okay, so... yeah, that's not gonna happen with this lag. But essentially, no, it's nair to dare is a true combo. But yeah. Yeah. So that's the other thing. You can get the footstool off of that. Let me see what else. At mid percent, you can often get like if you land a rising fair at around this percentage. That's an option. You could also get nair, fair, air slash. One thing is very important though, something that even I keep messing up right now, is that you don't want to go for nair fair at a time where it doesn't work. Like before 50%, don't go for nair fair, because if you go for nair fair and you drop it, you just lost potential advantage. And potentially let the opponent have the advantage. Because, like, watch, the times that I did it, I pushed off stage. So, like, I did this in order to try to follow up, and if you land below me, then you could just up tilt or air slash or whatever and force me off stage. And now I'm in a bad position because I messed up a combo.
Yeah.
Now, in general, that's going to be the majority of the bread and butter setups. There are some other things you can do moving forward. Like, no, also, there's the fact you can apply these bread and butter setups to Buster Art at later percent. So, like this, for example, at this percentage, nair to forward smash would work, but you can also turn off Buster. That would be going into more advanced stuff. But it's stuff to keep in mind. Besides that, here's another one. That's a 50-50. If you get it with the first hit, and if you land with it, like, especially if you Malk, then that would be a true combo. So there's going to be times that you can realize that you can get it. Like, for example, you're on the ledge, you drop down, you rise up with an up air in jump art that lands on the stage. And then potentially off that up air that lands on the stage, just barely, if you're aware of it, and if you time it right, I'm not doing it right now, you can get a kill with that. That's potent. That is super potent. Because that's turning a disadvantage into a stock. Now, one last thing that's going to be, that I'm going to mention is basic, which isn't really that... Actually, yeah, this is kind of on the edge of basic. Some of the other stuff that I was telling you wasn't fully basic, but it's stuff to think about for the future. This is going to be the last thing that I'm going to really talk about in terms of basics. So, what you want to do when recovering often is you're going to air slash and then hold down. If you hold down, you will not grab the ledge.
Yeah.
So this will force, if you don't hold down, normally you'll just snap the ledge. like I just finished explaining before. But if you hold down, you can avoid snapping the ledge, and then once you do the second slash, you stop holding down, and then you grab the ledge. So what this allows you to do is, let's say you're trying to edge guard me. You go off stage and try to hit me with like a back air. You just, like, actually, I'm gonna try to edge guard you. If you connect with the second slash, I could die as early as like 80%. So yeah, it's a powerful tool.
Yeah. It's something I've known about, but I never like actually started doing.
And then, of course, it's very important to note that the air slash doesn't always work, and it's based on your position. If you get it at the base, it works. If you get it at the tip, it works. If you get it in the middle, not always. But yeah, I think that's enough.
I was gonna say there's a point in my VOD where I landed an aggressive air slash while doubling, and I landed before the second thing could come out, so I dropped like a kill setup.
Something I want to say, no, Zaref's saying, something I want to say, around 10%, I use down throw and put him off stage and wait for an air dodge and then punish with dare footstool. That's one option. That's actually something I don't do much. I tried to and then I fail. Especially, like 10% is not going to work very well. Oh wait, no, whatever. It's too high percent for that. Now, last detail that I'm going to mention. Smash art at ledge. At 110. Down throw. Dead. You don't always want to land attacks in Smash Art. Also, up tilt. Stupid powerful. That can kill. In terms of death setups, you got the up throw up air thing, which could use some practice later on if you don't drop it. I highly recommend you practice that. Using... get a Wiimote, put it on the floor, and then just step on the B button like a pedal in order to practice the air dodge timing.
Yeah.
But that's for later. Before everything else, there's the concept of fundamentals. I believe that it's very important, especially for Shulk players, to learn the fundamentals of the game before learning all the technical Shulk stuff, because even though the technical Shulk stuff is extremely powerful, if you don't learn the fundamentals first, you will let yourself get carried by those. No, by the extra stuff. So
that's why I was saying, like, I focus on neutral and maybe only make some bread and butter and stuff. I wasn't trying to get too complex into it.
Okay. So let's we have, I believe, we have 25 minutes.
Yeah.
A little under half an hour. So we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about some of the stuff that I missed when covering the fundamentals. So the whole aspect of neutral advantage disadvantages, I discussed that a little bit. Now I'm going to talk about the concept of stage control. A lot of people think they know what stage control is, but then have difficulty defining it. I know I did in my earlier videos, and I regret that. Essentially, I want you...
I was gonna try.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I would define it as, like, stage control is when you control more of the stage than the opponent, or something along those lines.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is having more control of the stage over here. I'm talking about the concept of stage control. How would you define it?
Okay, the concept, yeah. Alright, go for it.
Okay, so I want you to imagine there is a bubble around your character. This bubble is the range at which you can throw out an attack before your opponent can react. That range is, for Smash Bros, roughly 19 frames. Because average human reaction time is about 13 frames. And average input delay is about 6 frames. So total it's about 19 frames, give or take, in some situations. So, let's look at Shulk's kit. So, moves that hit before 19 frames. All of his aerials are later than 19 frames, besides his Nair. And the reason for this, even though, like, let's say his Nair is frame 13 when it comes out, right? But before you throw out the Nair, you need 5 frames to jump squat. So Nair buffered out of a jump squat is frame 18. So if I'm standing right next to you and I jump a Nair, you can't possibly react to it. Especially on Wi-Fi when the delay is even higher. But then if you keep in mind, for example, forward air. The first hit of forward air comes out on frame 19 from the jump squat. And that starts all the way above Shulk. So imagine every added frame of that forward air is another frame in which your opponent could have already reacted. Keep in mind, they already reacted on frame 13. It's just you're trying to beat their button to the game.
Yeah.
So that's why approaching forward air only really works when your opponent's in the air. If you try to do it on the ground, like watch, I'm going to be standing still, okay? This is Wi-Fi, so it's probably going to fail anyways. But I'm going to go for the forward air. I want you to react to it. We're going to play quick draw, okay?
Okay. I think I thought I was supposed to.
Okay, Wi-Fi is too much lag. It's going to be hard to react. Oh, try crouching. Now try to react to it. Damn, still. Okay, try to react to back air. Oh shit, my bad.
Actually,
That was a perfect shield. That's why trying to zone someone like this is not usually the greatest idea. Unless you're in Buster Art. Because if you're in Buster Art, then even if your opponent shields, you're going to be completely safe because look how far away I pushed you. And if they keep doing it, you can break their shield. But forward air, not usually a good idea when your opponent's on the ground. If your opponent's in the air, though, then there's no possible way. Actually, there is no possible way you can react to this. Because think about it. What option do you have to react? Even if you press the button perfectly for frame 19. Your air dodge comes out frame 3. I'm going to hit you frame 1.
okay.
You have nothing to react to that. So forward air has a... No, because of forward air's reach and because of Shulk's jump height and all these things, Shulk's threat zone is very tall. But it's not that tall on the ground. No, it's not that large on the ground. Because I can't just jump at you with an aerial and expect you not to react. What I can do that, like facing away from you, I can nair and then jump towards you and you can't react to that. Assuming I'm in range. There's no possible way for you to react to that. What I can do, though, that you can't react to, is this. Shulk's grab comes out frame 7. He can cover a lot of ground in 12 frames. So I walk 12 frames and then I grab you. It's beautiful. So just doing that in speed art, you can cover so much ground. Or alternatively, getting the initial burst of speed from the dash and then doing that. It's very difficult for someone to react to this. However, it's actually a lot easier for someone to react to dash grab. Because if you dash grab, you give up a lot. No, not only do you give up a lot of notice, because the initial puff of smoke is the dash grab, but the grab comes out on frame 9. The reason that the pivot grab is a lot harder to react to is because it covers a lot more ground in a much shorter amount of time. So yeah, essentially the best options you have on the ground to try to get someone like this, you got down tilt, which comes out frame 10, I believe. You have pivot grab or walk forward and grab. You have this potentially, but even then not really. Not that, the forward tilt version specifically. Because this is kind of slow, all things considered. It's frame 11, I need to cover that distance first. And you have instant dash attack. The amount of distance you can cover with an instant dash attack is actually ridiculous. It doesn't matter what art you're in, it'll always be the same amount. So even if I'm in shield art, you still can't possibly react to the instant dash attack. So if you learn the range of that instant dash attack, you're able to establish your threat zone really well. Because even from that distance where you think you'd be perfectly safe from anything else that Shield Edge is capable of, I can hit you with the dash attack. And what you do in order to do that, do you use tilt stick or smash stick?
I messed up my controller before we started, but I'm trying to use special stick.
Oh, special stick.
I don't see stick.
Okay.
So I figured since I don't use C-stick, I should set the special for the Shadow Eye.
Well, it's not for Shadow Eye, it's for Vision Slide.
Yeah, it's Vision Slide.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'll use both, but yeah.
Okay.
So I think
And you know how to pull it off on command, right?
I haven't gotten to it.
Okay. It's actually very easy, which is why I'm going to explain it now. Yeah, but don't worry about the aerial version. Don't worry about ground to air Vision Slide. It's useless. Trust me, it's useless.
Oh yeah, the pivot.
Now, what you want to do, you have the perfect pivot version, which don't worry about it. I don't want you to practice perfect pivots now. You're not ready for that. What I want you to do is I want you to turn around in place. Do you have tap jump turned off?
Huh?
Do you have tap jump turned off?
When I've actually got my control set up, yes.
Okay. Well, what you want to do is you want to press up on your control stick. Do it softly right now, or just keep holding it now. So you're holding up on your control stick, right?
Yeah.
Now what I want you to do is I want you to rotate it left or right, depending on which way you want to walk.
Okay.
Doesn't matter how far you pull it out, just keep it at the top. I mean, you can push it all the way out to the edges. It's just start from the top and then rotate on the border. And then you will never accidentally run. So you can very quickly just press up, right, up and then very slightly right, and you'll turn around in place. Or left, right. You can do this if you really want to. You can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind. And what you can do with this is just up, turn around, counter. And then you'll get a Vision Slide. But yeah, for instant dash attack, you don't have access to instant dash attack. Well, you don't, because you're using special stick, you cannot instant dash attack. What you would do there is you would run forward, and then immediately when you input the dash, you would press down on the C stick, and you would instantly dash attack. But that's okay. That's a small loss. Now there is one more thing that I actually forgot to mention. Shoot. I had it and I think I lost it.
Would you recommend using Smash or Tilt, or would you recommend Special? Or do you think it's
Special and Tilt are the best options for different reasons. I use Special against projectile characters. I use Tilt versus everyone else.
So basically whatever you'd want to, like whatever you can special call for.
Yes. And I use Special Trigger as well.
Since I don't really use the C-stick anyway.
There were two advanced things that I forgot to mention with Shulk. I mean, two more or less basic things that I forgot to mention with Shulk. Okay, first off, cycling arts. Starting to cycle the arts. Let's say we just started the match. How would you cycle Monado arts? You would press B and then start running?
I'd probably short hop. Full hop.
Okay. There's a third way that a lot of people aren't aware of. It's the one that I use the most. What I want you to do is I want you to tap forward to Foxtrot. Just once. And then after you do that, press B. And then you can cycle from there. What I do is I Foxtrot forward, press B, and then I keep holding forward to run. So tap B, tap and hold. So it'll look like this. So you can essentially just start it from a dash without any breaks. Let me see, which one do you find better versus Bayo? Tilt or Special? It depends on the kind of player they are. Special is better because it discourages bullet arts. But at the same time, Tilt makes it easier to land the Purge. And Purge is one of the only ways you're going to be consistently killing Bayonetta. So, pick your poison. and the other one is up B out of shield. It depends on what control setup you have. Maybe we should skip this one for now. But essentially, if you had a special trigger or jump trigger, you can make this very easy. Or if you have tap jump off right now, which you do, you can just press shield up and B, and then you would do it. If you use jump trigger, it would be shield, and then you press the trigger up and B. Okay, so let's talk about stage control. We interrupted that discussion.
Yeah.
So essentially, that border around your character is longer in the air than it is on the ground with Shulk, because like the amount of distance you can travel with this and cover is like that's ridiculously tall.
Yeah.
Also, things like this. I mean, no, this is different. Now, this is the reason that a lot of Shulk players like to short hop in neutral, because if you short hop in neutral, you force the opponent to react to your button as opposed to your action. So because I'm doing this, I can throw out an attack and you can't react to it anymore if you're just playing off reaction for the attack. While if I'm just standing still and I only jump for the attack, then you're waiting for the movement, and then as soon as I jump, you can react. Which is why empty hops are so powerful. And even then, it's not just the attack that you can throw out, but you could like empty hop and grab if the opponent starts shielding. That said, I encourage you to work on keeping your feet on the ground, because even though this is powerful, if you don't know how to fight grounded, you're gonna get bodied in certain matchups. Like fighting Marth, for example, you need to fight grounded. Fighting Bayonetta, you have to fight grounded. If you go in the air at all, you get bodied. So definitely learn both. So stage control. You got that border around you, and then you have the area behind you. This is area that you are denying to your opponent. Your threat zone, this bubble around you, this is your active stage control. This is like the area you directly control. And what your general goal when spacing is to keep your opponent within your threat zone, but to keep their threat zone, to keep outside of their threat zone. That way you can throw out an attack before they can react, but you can react to everything they do. This is something that Shulk is very capable of, because of the amount of speed he has, the amount of range he has, all that good shit. So what you can do is, for example, let's say I recognize that you are at that distance, and then I step into your range. This is your threat zone, and then I step out. And then because I stepped into your threat zone, you might be tempted to throw out an attack. So then I step out, dodge the attack, and then counterattack. This is one way of playing against passive players. Bait their passive option, and then punish it once they're in ending lag. This is why you see a lot of players like do things like stepping out of the way here, stuttering their movement, and then, well, I got a little too close. But essentially stuttering their movement at the edge of your threat zone and then running in. So you want to be careful with that. Now, stage control is really powerful, because let's say I push you to the ledge. No, let's say I have control of the stage, I push you to the ledge. I have this area behind me, which is the area I passively control, which I can use as a resource. If you come towards me, I can take a step back. And every time I take a step back, you can get more stage control, but at the same time, let's say you're trying to contest me. You're trying to attack me from outside of this range. I can take a step back, dodge your attack, and then punish you because you're still in the range of my attacks. That is the resource that passive players tend to use a lot. But if I push you to the corner, and I have all this control of the stage, you can't play passively, like I said before. So now, you have to come towards me. And then I'm able to use that resource against you, and then that's where my advantage comes from. If I were to push too far in, like right here, there's an issue with this, because let's say you want to get back to stage control, to center stage. All you have to do from here is cross me up. And then suddenly, you have complete control of the stage, and I lost everything. So, a lot of players have a tendency to give up this advantage once they gain it, So like for example, let's say you're sitting on the ledge and holding shield. Like right over here. You're sitting at the ledge holding shield. And then I see you doing that, and I run towards you, and I try to dash grab, and then you roll in. Let's assume you rolled in. Right there, I just gave him my control of the stage. And now you are holding onto everything, and you're in a good place. So yeah, this subtle exchange also goes into certain playstyles. Like, let's say you play very aggressively. You realize Nair is a powerful cross-up tool because it has to hit behind you. So you just go up to someone and you're like, yes, they can't grab me if I cross them up. So I'm just going to cross them up with Nair. Now, what if you're standing there near the ledge and then I cross you up? Oh boy. Well, I mean, you just completely threw that away. Okay. Don't try to punish Shulk's attacks on shield like that, because he has just so much ridiculous mobility, he's going to fall out of range. But essentially, the point that I'm getting at is I just crossed you up, but now I have no control of the stage. Why did I cross you up? I don't want to take your control of the stage. That's no bueno. Because now we essentially traded positions. Your position's a lot better than mine, so I just screwed myself over. Anyways, we don't have much time left, so how about we take a look at that VOD?
Okay. Do you want the full set or just the short game?
Just the short game. We don't have that much time.
Okay. And then if there's time after, I want to look at ledge traps.
Alright.
If not, don't worry about it.
The main thing I could say about ledge traps, which I could say right now as you're pulling it up, is you don't want to give up stage control when doing so. Keep your advantage, which is your threat zone, out. If your opponent stays very close to you, or if you stay very close to your opponent rather, then it makes it a lot easier for your opponent to break through your threat zone because there's less threat zone for them to break through. Meanwhile, if you keep them at the edge of it, they have to travel through the entirety of it. You have all this time to react with their counter approach, and then that's a beautiful position for you, you know? So when covering the ledge, you generally want to stay around this distance. Doing this makes it so the only thing that your opponent can really do from ledge is neutral get up safely. But even then, like, I can still down tilt to you if you neutral get up. I can react to your roll. I can essentially... Oh, watch, keep neutral get upping. Even though I can't really react to it, eventually, I know you're going to neutral get up. Or die. Yeah. I would hope you wouldn't be bad, but yeah, eventually I know you're going to get up, and then I have the opportunity to do that. And then you die.
Yep.
Or, I mean, of course, I could just down tilt, and then from a down tilt, you have things like the ledge traps. It's actually something I didn't get to mention. Down tilt is a potentially powerful option because it's a 50-50 setup. If you don't air dodge, you die. Potentially. And if you do air dodge, then, well, you could still die.
Okay. I kind of suggested the VOD as a, like, basis for where to start the lesson, but we could also use the closed lesson too.
Yeah, might as well at this
but
point.
There's also, like, only one game, there's not a lot to go off of.
That's okay.
But
It's it can be a nice way of setting up the ending here, and to just look at the past with the new knowledge that you have and notice your mistakes in the moment. So let's see if I can bring this up on the stream here.
And there's no commentary on it. I'm pretty much the only one that does commentary at my weekly, so there's not going to be any making fun of commentators who don't know how Shulk works.
I mean, I'm gonna watch it muted anyways.
Okay.
If you want, boot up the stream with the audio that I have, and just mute your microphone, or pipe in for the soft messages, so you don't end up hearing yourself in double, you know?
I was thinking we could also just, well, it take a little bit of setup, but there's the whole rabbit thing.
Rabbit, I'm unaware.
It would let us
Sync
watch
it?
the same thing real time, and if want to let pause this, it'll pause the other person.
I mean, if you want to set it up, go for it.
Alright. I will do that. I can remove how this. Let's see. Check this code again.
Okay, and I would be able to pause it, and
I know I can for sure.
okay, well, let's hope this works.
And if you don't like it, you can just do it. You can look through that.
Okay, let me go ahead and set this up on the stream.
Are you in the thing?
I am in the thing, yes. I'm just
You
trying to make
see
it
me moving my
bigger.
mouse?
Yes, I do see you moving your mouse. I think it might be better. It might be better if I set it up. Actually, no. Actually, yeah, it would be better.
You would want doing it, but then you also have to figure out how to set it up.
Yeah, you're right.
So-
Damn. Okay, whatever. We'll just keep going, and I'll call out time to pause and things like that.
Right.
Let me go ahead and mute the in-game sound. All right, there we go. All right, go for it. Okay. So far, not too bad. Just a little bit of extra movement right there. Hold on. Pause. Pause. Go like 2 seconds back. Notice when you go for this forward air on when he jumps towards you. This right here is a mistake because you end up pushing too far forward. That was a that was a medium risk, low reward option. You would have knocked him off stage. Maybe you got a second fair. Then you wouldn't have been able to up grab the ledge anyways because Game & Watch is not a character you should be contesting off stage.
Yeah.
So there, what you should have done, instead of jumping forward with the fair, you should have stayed in place or moved backwards with the fair. That way it would have been much harder for him to cross you up. And you wouldn't have lost this stage control that you had. So keep going. Actually, hold on, just a second. Let me make this bigger for the people on the stream.
People at home.
All right, that should be better. Go for it.
And that could have been really bad.
Actually, yeah. Let me put on the music. There's not much going on right now. Okay, so far so good. You're taking a lot of damage though.
I don't know what happened with that voice there.
Okay, that was decent. He was able to cross you up there, but it wasn't too bad for you there. Like, because if you had stayed a little farther back, you would have been able to hold on to that control of the stage. But you were still able to relatively hold on to stage control. Like here, when he rolls onto the stage, because you were too close, because you extended too far with that fair, he was able to get back to the other side of the stage. That right there, very risky option.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that with the
Mm-hmm.
That was bad. Because he didn't activate it, I didn't get much off of it.
You would have killed him, for sure.
And the counter?
Yeah. Depends on the option that he went for. So right here, you push a little bit, but not too far. You managed to survive that. God damn. We living.
I'm really good at holding in. And snap the damage.
I mean, there you didn't really have much of a choice. You could have gone a little lower and maybe air dodge to fall lower still, but right there, oh boy, oh god, oh god, don't ever go off stage versus Game & Watch.
Okay.
It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
Here's another going off stage versus Game & Watch. He's high up, so it doesn't matter that much. But just, okay, down smash? Low risk, high reward.
Yeah.
Rather, no, the opposite. High risk, low reward. You would have killed him, but you also could have gotten bodied. Right there, you went off stage, got knocked away. Survived this time, but if you went for a dash attack instead of a forward smash, you would not have made it in a good place.
That was the accident I was talking earlier, where I got the host hit, and I landed on stage before the second hit came out.
And then the good.
I still got a forward smash off of it somehow, but
yeah, it works out.
it worked out, but it shouldn't have, basically.
We take those. It's because he didn't try to jump away.
He probably thought he was dead, but then no.
Down smash is not worth it in neutral.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those things that
You're taking a lot of damage from this. Right there, you tried the forward smash when he was up a little higher. Unfortunately, he fell out of it, but I mean, still, you shouldn't have gone for it. He goes off stage with the bacon.
I don't know.
Oh, you're dead. No, you're not. Wow, he's bad. Okay, something for you to keep in mind that ended up killing you there. This ties into using Monado Arts. When you get knocked off stage like this,
You deactivate.
you deactivate as quickly as possible. Like here, you could still make it back to the ledge, but then he knocks you. When he knocks you away again, you should have instantly deactivated. And besides that, it's not just the instant deactivation, because you did deactivate it right there. Hold on, that double jump right there, that was expending a resource.
Yep.
And then you went high and then countered, which is already a ridiculously low reward, ridiculously high risk option. Because think about it, he's at 10%. You're not going to kill him off that counter, ever.
Nope.
And that backslash too. That backslash is also ridiculously high risk, low reward. So you get knocked off stage. And here, you should have deactivated. And it's not just deactivate, because you did deactivate and cycle to jump. However, watch, keep playing.
I jumped in shield and then cycled, and I should have cycled the jump and then jumped, because
But it's-
I would have gotten more out of the jump.
Yes, but it's not just that. If you air dodge when shield is over, you're safe. Because it resets your aerial drift back to the drift back to your vanilla drift. So like you have your airspeed in shield art, and then you have your airspeed in every other art, then you have your airspeed in speed and jump. If you air dodge when drifting like this, let's go back to the game for a second. No, not your game, the real game.
Oh, okay.
So, when you are drifting like this, that's how fast you can drift, right? When you're in shield art. Oh, hold on, we're gonna have an issue here. I think that's gonna take away the issue. Let me check. Yeah, but that's gonna put the issue back. There's a glitch in the game that needs to be fixed, but whatever. We'll get to that in a second. So, or we'll get to that in the future. So, if you're in shield art, you have a much slower drift. So what you want to do when you're caught in shield art, you don't want to keep drifting like that. What you want to do is you want to reset your drift speed. So if you, hold on, raise my percentage.
Up.
Should turn on Buster for this.
Oh yeah, I should, shouldn't
Okay, that's good, that's good. Okay, forward smash me off stage. You see, even without me turning on shield, now even without me turning on jump art, I was still able to survive. The reason for that is because I air dodged after turning off shield art. When I as soon as I air dodge, I reset my aerial drift to vanilla aerial drift. So I'm no longer falling like a rock. I'm no longer flying at the speed of a couch. And I'm able to survive. So that's something that's very important. That should go into basics, and I am so sorry for forgetting that.
Again.
So, other things that would reset that drift would be throwing out an attack, throwing out an air dodge works, or throwing out a double jump. All of those things would reset.
Shield ends, or is that just infinite?
That's after shield ends. Like after you deactivate shield. So like this. I believe it's after a launch. It's when you get launched away. So like, if you're in shield art. Oh, what? It's okay. Turn on jump art. Okay. You want to make sure that your stick is neutral while you're like first you DI. First you DI, then you let go of the stick, then you press B 3 times, then you air dodge. Or jump.
I let go, but I guess I didn't wait long enough.
You got locked in the arts.
Yeah.
You need to air dodge a lot sooner than that. Like the instant you turn off shield.
I think. Yeah.
You should air dodge.
I forgot that the activation is instant. So I was waiting for the deactivate.
Yeah, that's not something you need to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So one last try.
Yeah. Getting off the nose you should do. So basic, I can't do it.
You take more damage in jump than you do in Buster, by the way.
Do I? Okay.
There you go. That's exactly how you do it. Mm-hmm. And you'll get plenty of opportunities to practice that in future matches. So, that's about all the time we have. Is there any last, final, short question you want to ask?
I don't think so, because like that probably wouldn't be like.
Nah, I gave you a quick basic on ledge trapping anyways, but unfortunately, that's going to take a little longer.
Alright, that's fine.
Alrighty. Well, hope you enjoyed. Thanks again for supporting the / sponsorship.
Yep.
And
I'm gonna do it for Nico, and they got filled up instantly.
yeah, dude. Yo, Gregson, the man. But yeah, thanks again, man. And hope this works out. Anything in the future you need, feel free to ask, and I will try to answer to the best of my ability.
Alright.
Till then, take care of yourself.
Later. Bye, stream.
No contest.
So, that was a lesson given, as I just finished saying, as a donation reward for the / sponsorship. If you are interested in providing help for that, I'll have a link in the description of the video for all that purpose. I'll post one in the chat in a moment as well for the people watching on Twitch. Yeah. besides that, if you donate to me directly, $20, I will also provide a lesson. So let me know if you're interested in that, and hope you enjoyed. Take care of yourselves, guys.